Hey, good morning, happy Sunday. It's not happy remembrance, but it is Remembrance Sunday this morning as well. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to get this one finished and wrapped up by 11 o'clock. I don't know what's going on where you guys live, if there's any services or anything like that in the village. We've got a little thing going on. That's been streamed. So hopefully if you're watching and you've got anything sort of you want to do for remembrance, then yes, I'm hoping to finish by 11 o'clock. In the meantime though, happy Sunday, happy crikey, 8th of November already. If you're joining us over on the Facebook page or the Facebook group or the YouTube channel, hi, drop me a line in the comments, let me know where you're from. I know that there's been more people joining as well on catch up. There's a lady that joined us from California as well last week, which was really, really cool to see. And I know that some guys are coming over from Instagram as well. So if you're from any of those places, hello. If it's your first time here, I'm Lou. I'm the host, I guess, of Kitchen Live from Crumbs and Corkscrews on a Sunday morning. And this week is our last week of sort of autumn bakes, because next week we're going to go full on, no apologies for this, full on Christmas mode. You guys apparently have been putting your Christmas trees up already, so I think 2020 could do with a little bit of extra magic and sparkle, so we're going to start Christmas baking next week as well. But for you today, we've got one last autumn treat, which is a custard cream blondie. And yeah, let's give there's a few more seconds just to let everybody come in. I can see you guys there already. I've got the Devon crew already down there. Hi, good morning to everyone down in Devon. Auntie Pauline, Uncle Colin, Lou, Craig, who else is with you? Good morning, lovely people. And yeah, we're going to do custard cream blondies. We've got a few facts as well for you. These guys have been going off the shelves apparently during lockdown. And as we're back into lockdown 2 here in the UK, I thought, let's bring something retro out and feel a little bit nostalgic before we head into all the festiveness. So yeah, I can't wait to get going. Weather check as usual. It is drizzly grey and cloudy here in the Cotswolds, and Ian has gone out on his bike. Apparently it's not as cold out there as it looks, so good luck to him. Right then, let's go, let's get stuck in. This morning then we are making custard cream brownies. If you don't know what a custard cream is, don't worry, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to talk to you about the fabulous humble custard cream as well. But we're not making brownies, we're making blondies, which is, in theory, a brownie, just blonde. So, again, we're going to talk about what they are as well. This recipe is going to make about 12 to 16 slices. It depends how big, how chunky you cut your tray of bake up. And it's all going to be made just in one bowl. There's a few other bits and pieces that you're going to need, some spoons and whisks and stuff, but it's all effectively going to be made in one bowl. And it's really, this raspberry brownie is really rich and chocolatey and really, really dark. These blondies I've got, they're more buttery, they're vanilla-y, and a little bit caramelly in there with the white chocolate and also the sugars that we're going to use. So yeah, these are really, really good. And they're going to be stuffed full of custard creams. Now, if you've seen on the blog, there's ones for Jaffa cakes as well out there. And we did stuffed brownies with Rolos a couple of weeks ago, but this time we're going to be putting these guys in, the custard creams. And they, in my opinion, are perfect with a good cuppa. So I've got one ready for later. As soon as they're out there, well, not as soon as they're out there, but they need to rest a little bit. We're going to get into slicing these up and eating them. So, ingredients then. It's quite a simple recipe. There's one already on the blog as well for the party ring blondies, if you've seen that. If you know what a party ring is, those iced sugar cookie biscuits that are quite nostalgic and retro here in the UK. But for ingredients wise then, you're going to need 200 grams of butter, and as always I'm using slightly salted. If you prefer, you can use unsalted butter, but add just a tiny pinch of fine sea salt into the mix. Helps bring out all those flavours there. Or if you're using slightly salted, there's no need to add any extra salt. I'm using 2 sugars for this. Now I've listed here golden caster sugar and thought I had some still left, but I don't. So I'm using just standard white caster sugar. If you've got golden caster sugar, you can use that. But I'm also using a light muscovado sugar. So this is like a light soft brown sugar. And the reason that we're using the 2 together is normally a normal brownie, you just tend to use normal white sugar because it helps with all the chocolate and that richness. Whereas with the blondies, because we haven't got that chocolate in there, that cocoa powder or the melted chocolate, and we're looking for more that buttery, vanilla-y, caramelly sort of flavour, that's why we're using these 2. If I use the darker the sugar, the more sweeter it's going to be, and the more gooey. With the blondie, we don't want them as gooey as a normal brownie, so we want a little bit of hold to them. So using the 2 together and only using part of the light brown sugar is going to give us that that sweet, lovely, moist flavour, but we're not going to overpower everything else that's in there. So having a mix of the 2 is perfect. If you can't get hold of brown sugar, or you don't want to use brown sugar, you can just go with the white sugar as well. Or if you're looking for something a lot richer, a lot sweeter, if you've got a really sweet tooth, you can go with all brown sugar, but I would suggest the lighter brown sugar. I have tested it across different ways and different sugars, and for me, this combination is the one that makes my sweet tooth the most happiest. So we've got 300 grams altogether. I've got 200 of the caster sugar and 100 of the muscovado there. We've also got our eggs. We've got 3 of these. These have been at room temperature overnight. And again, like always, you want your eggs to be at room temperature. We don't want to be working with cold eggs because it brings all the temperature of the other ingredients down, and then the oven has to work a little bit harder for when it's trying to bake. If you haven't, a bit like we did last week, if you have to take an egg out of the fridge or you haven't got them up to room temperature, if you pop them in a bowl of slightly warm tap water for about 10 to 15 minutes, it'll help bring them up to a temperature that's not going to shock the rest of your ingredients when you add them to it. So we've got 3 eggs. We also have plain flour. This is just regular white plain flour or all-purpose flour if you're elsewhere. There's no raising agent in this, and we're not going to add any raising agent. There's no bicarb, there's no soda, there's no baking powder. It's just the flour here on its own. So this is just plain flour, 250 grams of. And the eggs are going to help give it a little bit of rise as well. Just trying to think what else I've got. We've got vanilla extract, and again, we're going to be using the homemade stuff. I've just finished photographing this, so the recipe, which is super simple, is going to be on the blog shortly. And we've also got white chocolate. We are going to pop some white chocolate into here. There's 150 grams, and I'm just going to chop it into shards and chunks, or you can use white chocolate drops. When I was getting ready, I meant to leave it all in one bar because it's easier to chop, but I chopped it and broke it into pieces, so that'll be fun later. And we're also going to add some custard powder. You can use Birds if you can get it. I couldn't get it, everybody's been buying it, so we've just got an own brand custard powder, and we'll be popping this through just to bring out that custardiness a little bit to help with the custard creams. If you wanted to, you could ripple through some ready-made custard, and not the, I'd say if you're going to be using that, use the long ice stuff, not the fresh custard. It's just a bit more stable for when it's baked. And also, what's not on the list, I've just completely remembered, is our custard creams. We're going to be using, it depends how many you use. We're going to be using about 150 grams. This is a 400 gram pack. It'll be about just about a third maybe, and of course there'll be one or two for me as well as we go through. Now, custard creams, if you don't know, these are like little sandwich biscuits. I guess if you're in the States or anywhere and you've never seen a custard cream, the closest thing is going to be a golden Oreo. And they're vanilla biscuits that are then sandwiched with like a custard buttercream flavour. Now, these guys are like a staple of British biscuit tins, and they were actually, I didn't realise, these guys were invented in 1908, so you know they've been around a long time, but they're also one of our most favourite biscuits. They are beaten by the Jaffa cake, if you want to call a Jaffa cake a biscuit. Is a cake, is a biscuit, you know, there's a whole lot of questions around that, but they are one of our most favourite. And with lockdown, apparently we've been eating more biscuits in the UK than we ever eat normally. Everybody's been reaching for the biscuit tin with a good cup of tea or a good coffee just to keep us going on through the day. They're one of my favourites next to a bourbon cream as well. But I've got a few more facts about these guys when we get into the recipe, actually. We eat, in the UK, every year, 420,000 tonnes of biscuits, which is about 2.6 billion pounds. I'm sorry, it's just mental. I love a biscuit, but it's just, we go through so many biscuits. It's obviously a very British thing, cup of tea and a biscuit. Anyway, that's all our ingredients. Equipment-wise, you're going to need yourself a very large bowl to mix stuff in, or just a good sized mixing bowl, a whisk, or you can do this with a spatula if you want. I've got both, a couple of spoons for measuring out. I'm going to go in and level off with my trusty, most favourite offset spatula or an angled palette knife. And you're also going to need a brownie tray. This is a 13 by 8, I believe, or just shy of tin. And it's about an inch in depth. You can use an 8 by 8 or actually probably a 9 by 9 cake pan if you prefer. You could use an 8 by 8 one, it's just going to be deeper, so you're going to have to remember to adjust your baking times. But this is sort of a standard tray bake brownie tin size. This one is well loved and used, as you can see. And I will link out to it, because every time I do a tray bake, you guys ask for a link of where I can get them from. So I'll post where this is. This is actually a masterclass tin, and I've got 2 of them and had them for years. So that's also what you're going to need. Right, I'm just going to grab a sip this morning. Now this again is a really simple, quick recipe that can be done with the kids as well. There's no real, unless you're chopping up the chocolate, there's nothing really with any knives or anything like that. So it's a good one to get them in, because we're not using mixers or anything like that. So let's get stuck in. First thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat our oven, and that's to 180 degrees C or 350 Fahrenheit. And I say it every week, if you know your oven is temperamental, set it to the temperature that you know works best for you. And for me, that's just a little off 180. So whilst that's preheating, then we can get on and make our blondie batter. I'm going to say brownie a lot because yeah, that's what's always in my head. If I think Debbie Harry, maybe it'll stick with me a little bit more. Right, first things then, what we're going to do is we're going to melt our butter down. You can do this in the microwave if you have one. Again, 30-second blasts. Just pop it in, don't let it burn. Take it as far down as you can and then let any residual heat just finish it off. So we've got quite a lot today. That's 200 grams. And I've written 300 on the ingredients, so I will correct that. It is 200 grams of butter. I was thinking 300 grams of sugar, obviously, when I did that. So I'm just going to pop this on the hob to melt on a low heat. Okay, so whilst that then melts down, if you're doing it in the microwave, like I say, 30-second blast, take it out, give it a stir around, see how much is melted, what's left to melt. If you're almost there, just let the residual heat from the butter that has melted melt the remaining bits. You don't want to go over too much and burn your butter. There are things where you can do what's called brown buttered brownies, where you do take the butter further over and you'll get lots of little nutty flavoured brown specks in your butter. We're not doing that on this one, but I will be at some point in the future. So then, whilst our butter is melting, our oven is preheating, in our large bowl then, we're going to add our sugars. And like I say, we're going for a little bit caramelly, butterscotchy, vanilla-y flavour. So we're using a mix of the white caster sugar. There we go. Or you can use golden caster sugar. If you want to, if you've been making vanilla sugar, you can also use that as well for a little bit of extra vanilla in there. And then we've also got our soft, light brown sugar. This is a soft brown, light, soft muscovado, but you can use just a normal light, soft brown sugar as well. Ooh. Clattering this morning. So, and whilst everything's going on, I'm just going to mix those together. Anything, the butter's going to bring all this together anyway when we add it to it. And also in here then is we're going to use our custard powder. Like I say, if you can get good old birds, then go for that. If you can't, store-bought is perfectly fine, store-owned even. And the powder is, we're not adding any extra liquid to this, so the powder works really well. So we're going to add 4 tablespoons, not going to pack it, just 4 tablespoons of the custard powder to our sugar mixture. I love the smell of the custard powder. Love it. So it gets everywhere as well. When I used to live back up home, there was a place in Birmingham that we used to go out to in my days when I used to go out at night, called the Custard Factory. It's an amazing space, amazing art space and creative space, as well as you know, places for entertainment, like bars and restaurants and stuff. But it was literally a custard powder factory that exploded, because I won't go into the science or anything, but custard powder can be very dangerous. Which then, okay, let's have a little bit of another fun fact. Custard creams apparently are one of the most dangerous biscuits in the UK, and that is not because they're custard. No, apparently when I was doing some research about these guys, they have done, there's a thing set up by a company called Mind Lab, which is the biscuit injury threat evaluation, or BITE. Yeah, I have to think of it. And these guys surveyed Brits back This is a little bit old now, but back in 2009, about injuries and what they may have done, like on tea breaks. And apparently, when they did it, like 25 million. This is what the research says. I find this hard to believe. 25 million people had claimed or registered an injury that they'd made or they'd had during a tea or a coffee break. And about 500 people needed hospitalisation. Shouldn't laugh, but they were biscuit-related injuries. So one of the most bizarre ones I found was a guy that was working on a building site, fell off wherever he was perched, and had like must have broke something, I think, because he was reaching down to get a biscuit that had fallen off. It's like, I love biscuits, but you know, we can, you know, if it's gone, don't put your life at risk. So yeah, 25 million people have injured themselves on their tea or coffee breaks, and relating to biscuits, really. So, oh dear, crazy. So and this whole thing that they did, this Mind Lab, this bite biscuit injury threat evaluation they did, was actually they found that a Jaffa cake a custard cream is 5 times more risky than a Jaffa cake. Nuts. Okay, the butter's nearly melted, and we've just, Gina's here. I know custard creams today. They are very dangerous to mine as well. What happens is I open a packet of biscuits and use them for this, and then the remainder go in our biscuit tin for our tea breaks, because we're both working at home, but it's very difficult not to sneak another and another and another and another. Aha, right. I'm just going to bring this over then. So our butter has melted down. I'm just going to give it a stir there as well. So this is warm at the moment, which is fine. So with our, I was opening the custard creams, we will get back to those. With our sugars, so our white caster sugar, our light brown muscovado, and our custard powder in here, we are going, and we've got a melted butter. So I'm just going to make a quick well in the centre and then pour this in. When you're making brownies or things like that, there is a lot of butter and a lot of sugar goes into these. Oh dear. So, and we're just going to stirring this all together. We're looking now for the sugar and the butter and everything to start combining down. I am doing all of this by hand. If you want to, there is nothing stopping you doing this with a stand mixer or a handheld mixer or anything like that. So I'm just going to grab a bowl for my dirty bits today. I'm just going to didn't expect that one to have gone so quickly. The guys at Sourced tested a balloon whisk, and it was a lot more expensive than this one that I've got. This is just an IKEA one, and I think the one they tested was like a tenner, but it was a lot stiffer in terms of the balloon, and these are flexible. And it helped them. They whisked up cream in a matter of seconds, rather than like taking a little bit longer. So, as we've got with this, I might invest in one because it did look good. Because I struggle with this one, and you'll see I grabbed the end. So I haven't gone, Gina. What? It's a very strange thing. The cameras that we use is my photographic camera as well. It also does video, but Canon, for some reason, only let you do it in 30 seconds plus. And I think it's the same with the Nikons as well. So it sort of goes, no, you just disappear after 30 minutes, and I have to remember to press the button. So yeah, I am back. Right, in here then, I'm just going to balance stuff so we don't spill over. In here then, I've got our sugar and custard powder and butter mixed, and I've just combined it all together there. We're just going to leave this for one moment to start to cool down, because the next thing we're going to do is add the eggs in, and we don't want them to cook. So whilst we just give that a moment to chill, I'm going to, we're going to do the tray, and I'll tell you, when the new kitchen happens, it will be a lot easier for getting rid of all this stuff. So we're going to settle our tray up, and we'll chop the chocolate up as well. So for our baking tray then, you don't want to grease it. We're just going to put some baking parchment in here, and the easiest way really is to, I find, because when you want to lift out, is to lie a piece this way and then that way, and you can use it for lifting it out of the pan. So I'm just going to figure out the width of my pan so I can do the long bit first. So I've got my long bit here, and then I want a piece to go the other way. I'm hoping I'm not all big as fuck. Anyway, whilst we do this, the bundt cheesecake that we made last week is now up on the blog, with using the correct cheesecake filling, and it came out really well. Ian absolutely loved it, and he did lick all the bowls. He was like, oh, is there some left for me? Like, yes, there's some left for you. So I'm not going to try and trim that down. I'm just going to, there. And you just want it, so when you put your brownie, blondie batter in, whatever you're making, that the weight of the mixture will hold it down. So I'm just gonna check out what I've got here. There we go. I'm gonna cut the excess off here because I can actually use that in something else. Oops. There we are. So this is literally all you do for your brownie tray. Just lay the two pieces in, one this way, one the other way. We'll pop our mixture in, and then I can use that to lift them out. So that's easy and outlined. There we go. Let's just, so we're just waiting for this to cool. Actually, that feels like it'll be all right. So we'll just give it a moment though. So with the white chocolate then, I have chopped, I cut this, I broke it up last night, not thinking what I was doing, because I was thinking, oh, I'll melt it. And I was like, no, I don't want to melt it for this. I want it in pieces when it goes in. So this is easier if you are doing it from a bar, keep it full. So this is 150 grams of white chocolate. You can use white chocolate drops as well if you're doing this with little people, like kids, so you don't, toddlers, the nephews love getting involved. So, yeah, if you don't want to be using the knives with the guys around, then do it with the, go with chocolate drops. It's better. And actually, whilst I'm talking about cooking with kids, I'd noticed, and I hadn't realised, because I follow him on Instagram, and I followed him for a long time. I have all his books. But Jamie Oliver, his son now, his eldest son, Buddy, has been doing like little cooking things during lockdown, and has his own channel, and it's great. But it's for kids. It's, you know, he's 10. There's great recipes on there for adults as well, but they're all things that get the younger ones like more confident in the kitchen. My sister-in-law I spoke to last weekend was telling me how my eldest nephew, who's scarily 10 in May himself, had been, "Mum, what's for dinner and what's for lunch?" And he was given the option of making his own pizza, and he made his own pizza by himself, obviously with guidance from Mum and Dad, but I'm very proud. So he likes cooking, which is something I really love. So it's great. So yeah, if you want to make these with small people, with little ones, with toddlers, or with the ones that are learning in the kitchen, going with chocolate drops is probably better. So just whilst we're waiting, we've chopped up our white chocolate. So I'm just going to pop that to the side, and then we can get back on. So this is our butter and sugar and custard powder mix in there. Just keep giving it, that's cooling down, it's cooled down. Give it a good whisk together there. So next in is our eggs. These are room temperature 3 eggs. Stay there, don't move, I need someone to put the shells. So put one in, beat it through first, get it in, get it combined in before you add the next one. And it was quite a thick mixture just before I added it in, but the eggs will start to loosen it out and add some more volume. So number 2. Give it a good whisk. There was a thing, I can't do it for the life of me, there was a thing on, crikey, Instagram or TikTok. I don't do TikTok, I don't do Snapchat, there's far too many social media things for me. But it was like, can you do the one-handed egg challenge? I was like, I used to be able to, but I don't. If I tried now, it would go very, very horribly wrong, so I'm not going to. Just get rid of the eggshells. And just give it a good mix together. Right, at this point now, we'll have a runny, like you see, a runny, so that is brown caramelly colour. That's the brown sugar in there and the melted butter. So we do want it to be vanilla-y, so we're going to add a touch of our homemade vanilla extract. You can use vanilla extract from the store if you want, or vanilla bean paste. We're going in with this. It gets darker all the time. It does smell absolutely amazing. So the post is coming up for that soon, but it is just vanilla and vanilla pods and vodka, or there is I'm writing in the post a non-alcoholic version using glycerin. Right, there we go. It does smell really good. So Before we get in with our custard creams then, we're going to add our flour. This is just plain flour. It has been sifted before we add it in. And we're just going to fold it in. Now the thing with this is you don't want to, now we're adding the dry, you don't want to over mix it. Obviously you want to make sure you've got it combined, but you don't want to over mix it. So just gently with your whisk, or you can fold it in with a spatula. We get a nice thick blondie batter. So then, last bits. This is a quick one today, guys. Last bits are we're going to add in our chopped white chocolate, so that can all go straight in there. If you don't want to do it in chunks like this, you can melt the white chocolate in. You do that at the same time as you're melting the butter there, and use that as part of our wet ingredients. Just going to give those a mix through. Or I've put the chopping board away and I wanted it. Let's pop that then to one side. And back in with our custard cream. So we've got the vanilla of the custard cream. We've got the custard powder in there for the custard butter filling. Now we're going to add chunks of these bad boys into our mix. So instead of about 150 grams, we're going to put some on the top as well. So into your mixture, you probably want, I'm going to start with 8C. And we're just going to, you can break these up, but I'm going to go in with a knife today. And unlike things like the Rolos where we froze them because they hold the shape, these will hold their shape when they're baking. Now, somebody commented on the blog on the Kit Kat cupcakes during the week, asking, do they go soggy? And they don't go soggy when they're baked. They will go soggy if you leave it hanging around the batter mixture before it goes in the oven, giving it a chance to make it soggy. So you want to get it into the mixture and into the tin and into the oven as quickly as possible. Sorry, I've just broken those up and then adding them in off camera, but I'm going to add all those little crumbly bits as well. Now I can get rid of that. So, you don't want to leave them hanging around. If it hangs around, the moisture in the batter is going to get into your biscuits or your whatever you're adding in there and start to soften them up. I've got custard. Oh, it does smell custard creamy. Oh, you can tell why they're probably one of the most popular biscuits. He is gonna love this bowl when he gets home from his cycle. It doesn't look nice out there, but he reassured me it was warm enough to go out on his bike. So it's either that or packing up a house for a house move. I think he'd rather go on his bike. So I'm not gonna add any more than the 8 that I added in there because it's quite, I don't know if you see, it's quite a chunky mixture already, and I want to save some to go on the top. So in my tin that's lying this way and that way, and actually I'm going to do something I wouldn't normally do. I'm hoping that's vanilla sugar. And but I've got new baking parchment and it doesn't feel like it normally does. So I'm going to just going to give it a little bit of a smooth over with the cake release. Not a lot, because I don't want a lot. I just want it in the. I'm just a bit concerned about this new paper because I've not tried it before and it doesn't feel the same. So this is just me. You don't have to do this. But unlike when we've done it with the cake tins and stuff, where we've given it a really good layer, I literally am. What I don't want it to do is for it to stick in the bottom. And then it will be like ruined. Oh no! Because it's new. It's new to me, this paper. I've not tried it before. We are nearly at the bottom, oops, of the cake release. Nearly time to make a new batch. Put that there to help it stick down. Right. Now, Gina says she loves the bourbon cream too. I do as well, and that's why I've used them in the base of a couple of cheesecakes. So I think the Malteser one has it in the base as well. But what I had wanted to do, and we're doing custard creams, is I had wanted to do like a tea time treat biscuit. If you remember, I don't know, you guys might not get it over there in Ireland, but like the you used to get like family circle biscuit tins or family favourites or tea time treat favourite, like the biscuit selection tins with that. They weren't the jammy Dodgers, but they were that sort of biscuit, and you've got the custard creams and the bourbons and all of this. I wanted to do like a brownie full of all of them, but I bought the packet. We ran out of biscuits, so we ate them. But it's good, although they were saved for this. But we have custard cream ones instead. Anyway, I've just put a little bit in there. That's my own thing. I'm just a bit nervous about this baking paper, and I'm now just gonna let my blondie mixture, brownie mixture. I keep saying brownie, it's blondie. Need to think of Debbie Harry. Tommy, now it's going around my head. It should be very bad. I won't sing for you. It smells custardy. It smells vanilla-y. It smells butterscotchy. It smells amazing. Let's get all the last bits out. There we go. And I'm just going to remove some of this out of my accident. A little work clean. So, this lot is in my tray. I'm just going to take, as always, my angled spatula just to help get it over and level it off a little bit. This is nice and chunky. With the party ring blondies, I added like mini marshmallows as well, because that was sort of like that whole party thing. So now we're ready on the top. I'm just going to actually, then I think, let's get the chopping board back. I was going to put full custard creams in there. I'm looking how packed it already is. I'm thinking, oh no, let's not think like that, Louise, because you've just wasted a biscuit. Let's just put the custard creams in the top. Push down. So we should be able to get 3 across. So 1 for each. So if we're going to go, how many servings? So we've got a custard cream in each serving there, so everybody gets a custard cream on the top. So we're generous like that. So what am I doing? I'm going to get 12 servings out of this. If everybody gets a custard cream, or you can chop it up smaller. There we are. Just got my hands. I don't know if you guys can see. This is our custard cream blondies then. We've got 3 by 4. Now this is going to go into the oven for about 30 minutes. 40 at the most. I'm going to spin mine halfway through. So that's gone in for 30 to 40 minutes. It's more likely going to be 30 minutes, and that'll be a nice bake. Like the brownie, it's better to cook it slightly under and leave it in the tin for a good 15-20 minutes to continue baking. The residual heat in there will continue baking, and then you can lift it out and pop it onto a wire rack. As with the brownies, we want to make it sure it is completely cool before you start chopping it up and serving it, unless you want a really gooey, runny brownie or blondie in this case. So we want to pop it into the oven for 30 minutes, see how it is. Do the toothpick test, but not in the center of your brownie. If you do it about an inch in from the corners, from both ways, you're going to find out that that's where you're going to get that sweet spot. If you go into the middle, it's still going to look a little bit gooey, and it's not really what you're looking for. So if you pop it in there and take your toothpick out, what you're looking for is it will come out. It might have a little bit of wet sort of batter on it, but it's just like a film. It's not gunky, it's not gooey or anything like that. If it's coming out dry or crummy, then it's time. Stop, take them out, stop cooking them, because you'll go too far and it will be too cooked and it will be more like a cake texture. So there is a video on the Facebook page from when I did the Rolo brownies, when we took it out and I showed you what we were looking for on our skewer, bamboo skewer, our toothpick. So I will link that afterwards below as well. But that's pretty much it. This, again, like I say, is a quick one this morning. It's Remembrance Sunday, so I know people have got things planned or are doing virtual things as well. So I didn't want to really go past 11 o'clock, and it looks like we're going to be on track. Whilst these guys are in the oven, I will show you when they come out later. Next week, we start Christmas. Sorry, have to say it. And I've got a Christmas schedule. This is what you guys are going to get. So we're going to start our Christmas schedule next week with, we're going to start with a Bailey's chocolate tart. We're going to be making a chocolate pastry, and there's going to be a Bailey's caramel chocolate ganache tart going on next Sunday. So that's something really sort of quite decadent, ready for Christmas thinking and dessert thinking. The following week is Stir Up Sunday here, and is traditionally for stirring up, getting your Christmas pudding ready. We're not going to be making Christmas pudding because I don't like it, but we're going to be getting our Christmas cake ready. So I'm going to be making a small Christmas cake, a 6-inch Christmas cake, which we are then, before we get to Christmas, we're going to ice, we're going to decorate it as well. So I'm going to be putting a whole list together of what you'll need for that if you want to make your Christmas cake with me on the 22nd of November, traditionally Stir Up Sunday. So I'll be popping those details up as well later. We're then going to be doing a Black Forest cheesecake. Wanted to do this for ages. A chocolate Yule log. We're going to decorate our Christmas cake, and then the week of Christmas, we're going to be doing those last little bits. We're going to be making some mince pies and some other festive treats. Now, in between all of these as well, I've had so many requests for I was trying to find the best way of doing it. Oh, it put me a little bit on the side. I've had so many requests as well. So in between each of these, on a Wednesday evening, we're going to be doing some bonus bits and pieces. We're going to be doing some bonus bits and pieces. We are going to be doing my reader requests. So keep a look out for those. They will be going up closer to the time. But we have, first off, Wednesday, it's not going to start this Wednesday, it'll be the Wednesday after. We're going to be doing mincemeat. We're also going to be doing coffee cake, coffee buttercream, and we're also going to be doing some chocolate gifts and bits and pieces as well that you can make to go in Christmas. So they're going to be bonus ones all the way through. And then can't believe we're thinking about Christmas. Gina's got her Christmas tree up. Ours is out of the loft though. Because with the whole move thing, it needs to come out the loft, and I am very, very tempted to get it up. I know you're not the only person that's got it up. I know people that have got them up already. So, I think we definitely need it this year. We definitely need it. So yeah, so I will post up the Christmas schedule fully. As we get, I just got to get the last few bits and pieces together. The Christmas schedule I'll post up. I'll also pop a link in there where you can sign up, and I'll send you the ingredients and everything else that you need for that, for the Christmas tree, for the Christmas cake for your start-up Sunday, if you want to make that with me. I am going to, it is 10:51 according to my clock. It is Remembrance Sunday. So I want to head off well before 11 o'clock and respect that. So I want to say thank you guys, as always, for joining me on a Sunday morning. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are safe and well. If you're in the UK, if you're in England, we're back in lockdown. We can do this. We've got it. It's only a couple more weeks. And if you're elsewhere, if you are locked down, I think Gina, you guys might be in Ireland as well, or if you're in Wales or things like that. Look after each other, stay safe and well. And to everybody in the States, I hope the hangover's good this morning. In the meantime, I'll see you next week. Take care and bye for now.